clear. Go.
Welcome back, Jumba. In this week's Cyberpunk 2077 news, I will be covering some interesting details on gameplay mechanics from Mike Pondsmith, Cyberpunk Red, and its relationship to Cyberpunk 2077.
Giving away the secrets of Cyberpunk 2077.
I have a myriad of intriguing updates from the awesome CD Projekt Red community team. There was also a lot of commotion concerning Lady Gaga apparently taking over Cyberpunk 2077 at E3 2019 and even voicing one of the main characters from Cyberpunk 2020, Alt Cunningham.
I have nothing to say.
It's time for another red pill. The CD Projekt Red community team once again addressed several queries from fans which may be of interest. Following the success of the Gwent component in the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, naturally many CDPR fans are hoping for some sort of equivalent of Gwent in Cyberpunk 2077. CDPR have not provided any details, stating they are currently focusing on the core gameplay mechanics. But importantly, they did not deny that such a mini-strategy game might currently be in the works. Previously, there was a short-lived Cyberpunk 2020 collectible card game back in 2003, so the idea of a Cyberpunk 2077 equivalent is not entirely preposterous. On the topic of Night City districts, Pacifica was described as the most dangerous part of Night City. Abandoned and overwhelmed by the presence of various gangs, in many ways it should be considered separate from the rest of Night City. In another case of a déjà vu, fans continue to ask about a photo mode option, which has now been confirmed multiple times to be present in the game. Regarding the freedom a player will have to explore in the game, CDPR stated that after finishing a specific part, you will be able to roam through Night City as you please, just like in Witcher 3. CDPR reiterated that the demo which was released previously to the public was from a very early stage of development, so expect significant improvements in the final version of the game. While it was clearly stated that the demo was subject to change, it seems not everyone is fully cognizant of that particular disclaimer. Concerning the experience system, alongside traditional methods of gaining experience, players can garner street cred by completing side missions and jobs in Night City. The player's reputation can then be used to unlock new vendors and contacts throughout Night City. Finally, on the question of a possible native 2119 aspect ratio, Lileia could not provide an exact response, but implied she would be upset if such a ratio was not supported. In this week's Cyberpunk community news, Lucifer produced this fine artwork of everyone's favourite Militech senior operations manager, Meredith Stout. Some photos were shared with me of posters present on the walls of CD Projekt Red's Krakow office, including Akira and Blade Runner. Naturally, the pick of the selection was Major Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. Clearly my chumbas at CDPR have excellent taste when it comes to office decor. The cosplay featured on the thumbnail was by the talented Maya Felicitas. If you have quality Cyberpunk related content you wish to see featured in a news video, feel free to contact me on any of my social media or business email. Mike Pondsmith and Artalsaurian Games provided additional details of the upcoming Cyberpunk Red pen and paper game. Importantly for fans of Cyberpunk 2077, this information offers insight into some of the design choices for the game. The 6 stats, as evidenced from the gameplay demo, were Strength, Constitution, Intelligence, Reflexes, Tech and Cool. They had a total of 25 points to distribute among the 6 stats. In contrast, Cyberpunk 2020 has 9 stats, which are Look, Attractiveness, Movement Allowance, Intelligence, Reflexes, Cool, Body Type Modifier and Empathy, which led to speculation as to why certain stats were changed or missing. So why did Attractiveness not make it into Cyberpunk 2077? Mike Pondsmith explained that he has removed the Attractiveness stat as it was too easy to manipulate within the game mechanics. Either your face looks like a constipated street rat had sex with a moldy avocado, or you can simply enhance your looks using surgery and cyberware. Since attractiveness could be maxed out with a few visits to your local Ripper Dock, it ended up as an almost universal dump stat. Another issue is that attractiveness can be highly subjective. As they say, beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. In Cyberpunk 2077, you don't pick a class. In Cyberpunk Red, roles still exist, but additional flexibility has been added. If you became a rocker boy, you were essentially a rocker boy with a skill list and media special abilities. However, now a rocker boy could sell out and sign on with a megacorp as a record executive, for example. The increased flexibility in roles might influence the type of NPCs you may meet in Cyberpunk 2077, resulting in many interesting combinations. Roles will also be restructured in Cyberpunk Red to make them more usable. For example, cops are now lawmen. Previously, the role revolved around being a member of the NCPD, federal law enforcement officer, a corp cop, etc. But now they will also have an optional special ability called backup, depending upon how high the lawmen are in the food chain and the context of the situation. If they implement this perk into Cyberpunk 2077, one might have to think twice about attacking the NCPD, who can call a SWAT team as backup. Corporates have now become XX. Before, a player would simply work for one of the megacorps, but now each exec will start with a level of authority. They will also have the special ability Team, which allows them to create a group of specialized NPCs such as bodyguards, drive, etc. that can assist them in certain tasks. Nomads remain nomads, but their role in the Cyberpunk universe has expanded as they are now one of the only reliable ways to transfer goods from place to place, so are important in maintaining the economy. The lack of reliable transportation and the dearth of new manufacturing means nomads need to be ready to hotwire or to jump into any vehicle in order to finish the job. Their optional special ability will be Vehicle Zen, which will allow a nomad to understand everything from motorcycles to delta jets as needed. Mike strongly hinted that nomads will be very important to the Cyberpunk 2077 narrative. In this week's subscriber Q&A, I received several questions concerning Sony and the censorship of Cyberpunk 2077. I've addressed this topic before in my news video on CDPR's UK Head of Communication, Holly Bennett, but it has come to light again due to the evidence of incongruity between the Japanese and Western versions of Devil May Cry 5 on the PS4. This relates to the use of lens flare to camouflage female nudity. A pattern is beginning to develop that every time a PlayStation game has censorship issues, street rats instantly begin clickbaiting that Cyberpunk 2077 will also be censored. This in turn makes genuine CDPR fans worried. While it is disappointing to see Sony take the stance with DMC5, remember that this currently does not pertain to CD Projekt Red or Cyberpunk 2077. If the Sony situation changes, naturally I will update you. It is also important to note this does not exclude Cyberpunk 2077 being censored on all platforms in specific regions, such as the Middle East and Japan. Previously, violence and nudity were cut from the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Several subscribers asked whether or not there might be an Akira bike reference in Cyberpunk 2077. While it is currently unknown if this shall be the case, in Mike Pondsmith's Cyberpunk universe, in the Cyber Generation timeline, there was actually a bike called the Akira bike, which looks similar to the one shown in the anime movie. For those who regularly watch my videos, you may know by now Ghost in the Shell is my favourite anime, so it was exciting to see Netflix confirm Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex 2045 for a 2020 release. Created by Masamune Shiro, it will be a 3D CG anime series, directed by Kenji Kamiyama and Shinji Aramaki. Anyone else excited for a new Ghost in the Shell series? Let me know in the comment section. Clickbaiting street rats have been particularly industrious in promoting fake news this week. The Daily Express continued with its customary Cyberpunk 2077 release date clickbait, while other street rats attempted to utilize the nonsensical information from the Territory Studio website as a leak of the Cyberpunk 2077 release date. Thankfully, I dropped a red pill on this hogwash in my previous news video. Without doubt, the street rat pièce de résistance of the week is false news on Lady Gaga taking over Cyberpunk 2077 at E3 2019. Street rats literally entered into an orgasmic frenzy over Gaga. As mentioned previously, the details on the connection between Lady Gaga and Cyberpunk 2077 are based upon nothing more than a humorous tweet made by the Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account in response to a Lady Gaga tweet from November 2012. Concerning this tweet, the CD Projekt Red community team confirmed they were just joking. There is currently no evidence to suggest that Lady Gaga is associated with CD Projekt Red or is working on the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack. The latest source of clickbait nonsense stems from ACTU Gaming, a French website. An examination of the article in question reveals a myriad of issues which many street rats fail to consider before regurgitating this drivel. Firstly, one would think it's rather strange that, despite claiming to have super secret inside sources at CD Projekt Red, the article author was ignorant of the fact that the Cyberpunk 2077 community team has already divulged publicly the reason why they decided to respond to Lady Gaga's tweet. Secondly, it's rather ironic how the street rats from France just happened to be in Warsaw, Poland at the exact time that Lady Gaga allegedly was visiting CD Projekt Red to perform her motion capture sequences for Alt Cunningham, and no one else potentially involved with the game. It's unfortunate that no one in their cadre of super secret inside informants had a mobile phone or camera to take a photo or video of Lady Gaga either entering or leaving one of CDPR's buildings, or even her being in the same vicinity of a CDPR employee. Not even a photo of Lady Gaga being present in Poland. Another consideration is why was the information leaked by a random French website, and yet there was nothing from local Polish gaming journalists. No one in the Polish media or random fans on social media picked up on the fact that one of the most famous singers in the world was visiting Warsaw. Perhaps Lady Gaga used firm optic camouflage like Major Motoko Kusanagi. Most ludicrous of all is that some desperate street rats are reporting that Lady Gaga will be playing the role of Alt Cunningham. If you don't know who Alt is, she was Johnny Silverhand's fiancée, a super wizard class hacker, and one of the main characters of Mike Pondsmith's Cyberpunk narrative. Hey, Cyberroach, what do you think of all this jaw-dropping, exciting news on Lady Gaga? Cannot argue with that assessment. There is currently no evidence whatsoever to corroborate any of this news on Lady Gaga. It's apparent that some street rats reporting on Cyberpunk 2077 are completely devoid of critical thinking, while others have nothing but utter contempt for genuine fans of Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red. Be sure to take that red pill, Chumba, because as E3 2019 approaches, the street rat problem in Night City is going to get considerably worse.